Are we good? Good afternoon. How is everyone? Awesome. I had got the peace sign from the back. Thank you for attending the town hall today. I was going to comment on how much smaller the group is than, was it last month or the month before that we first talked about the elevators and the standing room only. Now the group's gotten a little bit smaller. I need to come up with another topic that's really going to entice people to come to the town hall.
We could come up with a few.
We'll come up with a few. Lori said we'll come up with a few for you. Okay, forget about it. I didn't say that. I didn't say anything. But thank you for coming in attendance. It's basically our basic format today. Should not be a super long meeting. It always depends on the questions at the end. I would like to highlight one thing before we get into the meat of the meeting. I did mention storm. It is storm season, right? So remember that we are turning into August the day after tomorrow. And the peak months for storm season in Southwest Florida are August, right? September, maybe dwindle, a little bit into October, but really August and September. So you all should have, if you're sheltering at the community or somewhere else, you should have your supplies already. If you do not, for some reason, please make that a priority. Get your supplies, get prepared. We never know, right? There is a storm, I was mentioning there's a storm that was brewing off the coast of Africa that we just kind of followed the last couple of days. It looked like it might turn into a hurricane, but it looks like it's going to kind of fizzle out a little bit. It might not even hit hurricane status, we're not sure yet. But it looks like its trajectory is into the Atlantic, kind of east of Florida, so we should be okay. But more to come. We're just kind of starting the peak season. So that was number one I wanted to highlight for everyone. Number two, I would like to thank everybody for the kind words related to my loss. Lost my father a little while ago on July 4th, and I want to thank all the people that gave me some really kind words about that. I will be traveling back for the service very soon and meeting with family, but thank you for that. It's going to be a bittersweet moment, but it'll turn out to be a good moment. But thank you for the kind words. So here we go. So resident council always meets. They never miss a meeting. You think they could miss a meeting once in a while, but they never do. So they meet the Tuesday before the town hall meeting. So we'll go into that discussion. I'll have a few department updates, not a ton, but a few department updates. We'll talk about this again, the elevator modernization project, talk to you a little bit about that, and then we'll do we'll see if it's quick question and answer period at the end. So in no particular order, these are just kind of items that were tabled at the resident council meeting. There was some discussion about the shopping carts in the residential buildings. Ooh! It's winter. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to need to bring that coat with me to Canada, by the way.
It's pouring outside. Never mind.
Shopping carts that are used in the residential buildings for residents to bring packages to their apartments. There were some residents that were hanging on to those for an extended period of time. Please do not do so. Please, once you've used them, bring them back to the common areas and in the closets so that residents can access them. There were some that either maybe didn't keep them in their apartment, but kept them for an extended period of time. So if you could just pay particular attention to that, it would be appreciated. They should be returned to the lobby area. There's been some conversation about this. This was tabled at the resident council a couple meetings ago. Discovery Senior Living's policy has been, at least for as long as I've been at the community, that they do not provide defibrillator units in the independent living. The question came up at the council if I could relay a message to the corporate office from a legal perspective, if they would reconsider that position. So I have subsequently relayed that message. I have not heard back from any anybody yet, but I will continue to pursue that. So I just wanted everybody to be aware that nothing has changed, but we're just pursuing a conversation to see if there would be some sort of reconsideration relative to defibrillator units. And those, you will find them in a lot of common areas. Airports is one that just comes to mind. But anyway, more to come on that. More to come on that front. Waiting for an answer from our corporate legal office. There was some conversation about some of the drivers, not necessarily the shuttle drivers, but maybe the shuttle drivers, but more importantly, those that drive the cars, not respecting the signals, particularly the stop signs. So we're gonna circle back with our drivers to make sure that they understand that yes, those are real stop signs. They're red and they say stop, please stop at them. And then if you do see something or experience something, please don't hesitate to speak to me. You can speak to me or you can speak to Jim Ford, either one of us, and just let us know that you may have experienced something like that. This will be completed campus-wide, the AC filters in August, that's what I'm being told. So the month of August, which starts Thursday, will be a complete replacement of the AC filters. And then there was some conversation about some of the housekeeping team, maybe not all the housekeepers, when they go to residential apartments to do cleaning, they might have personal handbags or bags that they bring into the apartment or close to the apartment. Some residents felt maybe that was not the best idea. So we're gonna circle back with our team and see if there's another way around that. I do know, after speaking with the housekeeping team after this was raised at the council, that a lot of them bring that because they bring their lunches and they have their personal phone with them, so they put it in those bags. When they take a lunch break, they do not, because they're in a particular building, they do not necessarily return to the main clubhouse, right? Because the time it takes them to go there and come back, they can just sit in an empty apartment somewhere and just kind of relax and have their lunch. So we're gonna come up with a bit of a game plan to try to address this. Dryer vent cleaning was completed in building 2. I believe the villa homes were also done. Were they done?
Yeah.
They cleaned? They did. Okay, thank you. We are gonna do all the buildings. I just don't have the exact schedule yet, but the goal is by the end of this year that all the buildings will be complete with the dryer vent cleaning. So it's coming. We're gonna do that. As you enter into the residential buildings, primarily in the lobbies, so ground floor, second floor, third floor, it's a little confusing for people who do not know the community. From a direction perspective, apartment 205, where is that located? So it seems to be a bit of an oversight when we redid the signage. So we've actually spoken to our design team from the corporate office to see if we can't get some directional signage placed in each one of those locations. So as you exit the elevator and you decide, okay, which apartment do I have to go to, you know whether you need to turn left or turn right. You see those in hotels, right, to direct to. So we're working on that. Once again, as a reminder, the signage that is in your common areas in the residential buildings, except for building 3, but all the other buildings, is not the final signage. So there is a final package of signage that replicates building 3 signage that will be placed in each one of the buildings. It's coming. So it will, coming off the elevator, it will direct visitors to the proper location. There was some discussion about the dining room back door. What I mean by the back door is if you're standing at the podium facing the south side of the dining room, there's an entrance door there that should really not be used during dining hours, whether that's lunch hours, whether that's dinner hours. It is a little bit disruptive. So we would really appreciate that right here should be exit only. It should certainly not be used to enter the dining room during dining hours, because you should really be coming through the front part of the dining room to make sure that you go through the podium. I put exit only. We would really ask if residents could refrain from using that door during dinner service, just so it's a little bit quieter. Sometimes that door will slam, you know, it's just a little bit startling. Some landscaping concerns relative to the front of Building 5 have been raised. We're working on a game plan for that. We also have a couple other areas on campus that we're looking at potentially redoing some landscaping, but that's one that was raised. The pool gate entrances have some cleaning that need to be done, so we're going to be tackling that shortly. The utility boxes, so these around the community, you'll see certain areas. Actually, there's certain areas where they're very well screened. The landscaping really does hide the utility boxes. They're like green boxes if you've ever seen them. Some areas not as well screened. We're trying to reach out to the utility companies to see if they cannot come and at least repair some of them and paint them so that they're a little more presentable. I actually have a contact now with FPL, so we're going to be reaching out to that contact to see if we can't get them out here to paint the utility boxes. And then this was raised with our team. The lamp post outside of the west side of Building 7 is not doesn't seem to be working properly. There was a request for more paper recycling containers, so we're going to look at some of the areas where we have a significant amount of paper. Some people are throwing that paper into trash receptacles, so we're going to look at some more recycling receptacles. The dining, I did see, thank you Alita for that email. I was able to read the positive, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a bit, but the comments from the culinary committee. There has been certain times longer waits, so we're researching that with our team to see what we can do to try to eliminate those or at least reduce them. And then some running out of some more standard type items that we really should not be running out of. This lamppost also outside Villa D needs to be reviewed because I think we had replaced the bulbs or replaced the lights and they still seem to be burning out. So we're going to be looking into that. Tiles on carports, you probably noticed in a couple locations, those are the roof tiles that are on the carport structures. Some of them are broken. We actually are being told that there's probably a project with the roofs that should start at the end of this year. So we're probably not going to repair those until we get till the end of the year. But more to come on that front. As soon as I get confirmation, I'll be sharing that information with everybody at the community. We've identified some of the clubhouse pillars, those big pillars that are outside the front entrance, the Port Cachere entrance. Some of those pillars they get stained from the irrigation water, so we need to address those. Providing a new list of residents to the council members was another item. Did somebody take the weight scale in the fitness center?
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to find a weight scale for the fitness center. I'm not quite sure where, but we'll find one. Bailey seems to have some insight, so we'll take that conversation offline. Pardon me? Get one that weighs less. That might be why the weight scale is missing, because it weighed too much. Every time I know I get on the scale, it's like, what? What is that number? Is somebody standing on the scale behind me?
Jerry said it was taken out because it was too dangerous.
All right, well, we'll figure out, we'll get a safe one. We'll get a safe one that makes you look really light. That's the plan. Cleaning of the awning posts is another area that we're gonna address with our team. So those are basically the items that we talked about relative to the resident council discussion. One area I'd like to, just from a dining perspective, we've talked about our culinary committee, right? And they meet monthly and they're systematic in their meetings, which is great. They discuss both the positive and I called it the constructive feedback. Okay? So yes, positive, but also some stuff, not so good. So we need to work on those. So it's awesome, and they really do list the items very detailed. These items are part of their minutes. There's an actual book or binder in the media center in the library that has all that information. So even if you're not on the culinary committee, but you're just kind of interested in what type of things they're discussing, please review those, please have a look at them. They do an awesome job in keeping very detailed minutes. And then Lee, I think, has been pretty good from a response standpoint. He actually puts responses in to the comments that they're making, so please take an opportunity to review them. Is it called the Culinary Binder? I just kind of made up that name, but Culinary Binder, and it's located in the library or the media center, okay? If you can't find it, just come and see us and we'll locate it. We'll track it down. Do not remove it from the media center. So Bailey now is settling in to her new role. Congratulations again. Doing an awesome job. Continue with programming. She hosted last week, right? You had like a suggestion, give me your feedback session. So please, if you have any suggestions, she only knows what she knows, right? If you don't tell her what's good, what's not good, she's not going to know. So please provide that feedback. But here's a bunch of things that are happening in August. So FGCU Academy will be back next Monday in the multi-purpose room. The topic will be how the Bible passages often get taken out of context. I thought that was a pretty cool topic.
That's a great.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, more to come on that front. I'll be curious to see what residents have to say about that discussion. How the Bible passages get taken out of, I couldn't imagine things getting taken out of context. Tuesday, August 13th, we'll have an ice cream social in the tavern. God knows our residents love ice cream. I think ice cream is the food that everybody enjoys the most. Coffee with Veterans continues on Thursday, August 15th. Carrie with Connect Hearing will be here on Friday, the 16th. Professor Kerr will have a presentation on Friday, August 16th on Russia. So I'm not quite sure, do you have any insight into that? No, it's just, all right, Russia, okay. It'll be cool, 1 p.m. in the, you'll find out, you have to show up. FGCU Academy will be back on Monday, August 19th at 2 o'clock, and, another hot topic. The crossroads of legal and illegal immigration. Interesting. Two really, I found, anyway, reading this, that they're probably two very interesting topics, very relevant to what a lot of us are discussing today. And then Lee will be back on August 29th for his chef demo at 2 p.m. And then, I wasn't quite sure how to take this one, but twisted trivia. So is that like the trivia is like twisted, or?
Well, JR,
Yeah?
he does the karaoke here.
Okay.
We get set up in a room, and it's a whole event of just trivia.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
he asks the questions, residents on teams answer.
All right. So in the tavern, so what Bailey just said, for those of you maybe that didn't hear, or those of you at home, the 29th, Thursday the 29th at 3 p.m. in the tavern, JR has this whole event with trivia, okay? So if you're a trivia buff, please come and attend, and even if you're not, just come and attend. All right, so lots of stuff going on. Oh, the concierge, resident services. Well, we were able to announce last Friday, if you read the weekly update, that we have found someone to oversee resident services. We're going to be adding a little bit of responsibility, but just kind of restructuring the responsibilities. So we've actually hired an assistant executive director who will be obviously working very closely with me, but with a slant towards resident services. So they'll really be the point of contact from a resident service standpoint. Her name is Mary Beth Baxter. She starts, wasn't sure if I should put the date there, but I put the date there. She starts next Monday, August 5th. Please let her settle in, okay? But I think the residents, I think the staff are really gonna appreciate Mary Beth. I did a little bit of a bio in the Friday update, what she's done, where she comes from. She's actually been working at the Carlisle for over 6 years, which is a community not far from here in Naples. We have some residents that have actually moved from the Carlisle here just recently that were very excited to hear that Mary Beth has decided to come and join our team. So that's always a little reassuring when you get that type of feedback. But I think you'll really like her. She's an awesome lady, very calm, but a real wealth of good experience. And she will also be overseeing the concierge desk. So her responsibilities will be, some assistant executive director responsibilities, resident services, and the concierge desk. So over 6 years experience in senior living. She's worked in many different roles, which is really nice because she has a feel for, the business office. She has a feel for concierge. She has a feel for activities. She actually worked in the activity world for a while, so lots of good experience. So just please join me in welcoming her on Monday. And I won't be here Monday, so go easy on her, okay? All right. Elevator, she's in charge. The first day, you're in charge, there you go. Where's the key? So we have completed buildings 2, 5, and 6. As of, I think, late day Monday, we opened the elevator in building 6. There, we're being told, and I've started sharing this a little bit with residents, that there are some adjustments that need to be made. So they're the contractor's telling us about 20 days maybe for some of the adjustments. So just be patient with us. We're going to work through those. I think we're going to probably settle off in a couple of weeks. There shouldn't be too many concerns there, but more to come on that. But we're pleased so far with what we see. There could be a brief outage, but touch wood, I don't think there has been one in 6. And 7 started yesterday. Okay, so they're working on 7 right now. They're doing pretty much the same things that they did in 2, 5, and 6. It should take approximately a week. So if we look at what happened with building 6, it closed on the Monday, and then kind of Monday afternoon the following week it was reopened. We seem to be on that schedule. Obviously, if we can get it done sooner, if we can get the county inspector out here a little bit sooner, we can maybe open up for the end of the week or for the weekend, but more to come on that. We'll keep you posted on that. Buildings 3 and 4 are going to be next. Remember that when I shared this information with you, the closure of these will not be as long. We're being told approximately 48 hours that they'll be out of operation. The dates I'm going to get probably by Friday of this week, so we hope to be able to share those dates with you at the end of this week when they will start. My sense is they're probably going to start as early as next week. So pending building 7, if they can get through that one okay, we'll probably be starting with building 3 or 4 next week. And if it is only a couple days, we could be completed with both of those elevators by the end of next week. The 2 remaining elevators that we will do, very similar to 3 and 4, will be the 2 elevators in the assisted living building. So those will receive those upgrades also. Once again, they'll be closed for about 48 hours. The good thing there is we have 2 elevators, so we're only going to close one at a time, and then do the other. So there are certain accommodations that we've been doing: free delivery, takeout. You can request assistance to try to navigate the stairs, and then an evac chair in emergency type situations. We had a couple people that absolutely had to go to medical appointments, those types of things, so we were able to use our chair for that. All right, and there you have it. So Bailey's got the microphone. We're going to open it up for questions. So who has the first question?
I noticed walking around the community on what would be the south end of our building, building
Okay.
2, there's paint on the grass and cement, like they're gonna be doing some work. Is there some kind of digging gonna be happening over there?
No, I don't know. So lines that have been painted
Like they,
on the sidewalk or on the asphalt?
mostly on the grass.
Oh, on the
and
grass.
A little bit on the sidewalk.
Okay.
Just wondering if they're getting ready to dig something up?
I am not sure. I will find that out and figure it out. Thank you. On this, that's the south end, right across from where the compactor is.
Yeah.
And, okay, thank you.
That's electric lines, Mark.
Is it?
Yeah, it's orange.
Oh, I might actually, I want, before I say anything, I think I know what it is, but I'm gonna confirm, and then we'll let everybody know. I don't, if it's what I think it is, it's not electrical lines, but I'll let you know.
This morning I looked out my window and there was a very long step ladder up to the third floor. And I'm wondering if they're working on some of the drainage devices up there, because I notice when it rains, there must be a break in the corner,
Mm-hmm.
because the rain just seems to pour down there.
They are.
I'm wondering if that's what they're working on.
They are, looking at the system, like the water evacuation system, the gutters, those things, that's exactly what they're doing.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm supposed to repeat the questions, sorry.
I'm just wondering, since Florida has so much fresh fruit, can we get an occasional plum or some other piece of fruit other than the melon? Thank you. Strawberry.
So I'm gonna repeat the question. The question is, because Florida has so much fresh fruit, can we get a variety of fresh fruit? So, awesome comment for our culinary committee, right? So those are things that you can either share directly with the culinary team, or you can speak to one of the culinary committee individuals to see what can be done. Sorry.
We have our meeting next Tuesday.
Yeah.
And at that time, we'll discuss that, Judy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Alita just shared that the culinary committee is meeting next Tuesday, and she will table that item as an additional item to the committee meeting.
This is more of a comment than it is a question. I just wanted to relate to you the very, very excellent way the elevator people handled Building 5.
Okay.
I live on the first floor, so I was able to sort of walk in and out and hear what was going on. They did an excellent job.
Good.
They cleaned up every day after themselves, and I know that it doesn't always work that well, but it worked very well in
Thank you.
Building 5.
Yeah. We will, so
They
the
need to know that.
the comment was that the elevator team, at least in Building 5, when they were doing their work, seemed to be very organized, very tidy, very efficient. So thank you for that comment. We'll absolutely share that with them. The elevator world is an interesting world when you start working with contractors. My experience has always not been the best, so I like to hear comments like that when there is a group of people that are doing a good job.
We
So
criticize and we need to compliment.
I thank you, appreciate it. Who's next? Oh, got a bunch of hands.
Perhaps this is another culinary committee. I'm wondering if we can find an alternative to all the white styrofoam. It's just
We
tons
can
of,
certainly look into it,
and
so
all the
that,
restaurants there's been containers that are made of recyclable materials.
so the question is there a way to get recyclable material to replace the white styrofoam that's used for takeout containers? I think we could probably discuss that with Lee and his team and see what can be done.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Lynn, yep. I think it's a great point. Because that styrofoam never goes away, it just
No,
stays
just-
forever.
It does.
And it takes up so much room in the trash cans and
Yeah.
bags.
Oh, yeah.
All
Mark,
right.
can you give us an update on one of the fountains which hasn't worked for weeks and weeks?
Yeah.
So the question is the east fountain that has not been operational for quite some time, actually. I'm gonna say probably closer to a couple months, maybe I'm gonna say close to 2 months. So we did initially, like we do with pretty much everything, when something fails, we do an analysis of it. The initial person or contractor that came in to told us something that we were not quite sure that they were 100% accurate. So we got a second opinion. The second opinion confirmed some things, but actually told us that it is done. So basically, when I say the actual fountain itself, not the structure, but the guts of the fountain basically needs to be replaced. So we had to place an order for a new mechanics, like a new motor and a new panel. We're waiting for that. So the order has been placed. Those types of machines take some time. They don't really have them, it's not something they have on the shelf that they can just pull off the shelf. Specific also to the age of the it's an original fountain. So we're waiting for delivery of that, and it will be installed once it arrives. So it's coming. Yeah, I'm sorry for the wait, sorry for the delay.
So your days are numbered on your calendar.
Oh, good. Oh, somebody's gonna grab that. I have a question. Is this monthly meeting only for independent living or also for the assisted living?
So it is, so the question is the meeting only for independent living or assisted living? And the answer is yes, it's for independent living.
Only?
Yep. Now, it doesn't mean, Renata, you're more than welcome to come to the meeting. I don't want to feel as though you cannot come to the meeting. There is a council in the assisted living that meets. You should speak, I encourage you to speak to Trudy about the council to discuss how that functions, but yes, they do meet on a monthly basis, and they hold their own set of meetings. And once again, if residents from the assisted living want to come and attend this meeting, but it is primarily for independent living.
Well, I'm thinking about trees and stuff also, when the trees are cut. I mean, when you go in the assisted living where the rondelle is and where
Yeah, hold the microphone just a little closer.
where that rondelle is.
Mhm.
I mean, there's such a big tree that takes so much sun away that even underneath the plants are dying.
Okay. So we can look at that in the area that's where like the gazebo is.
Right.
And, okay.
Right.
Yeah, we can look at that. Thank you, Mr. Parker. Neil. Oh,
Good job so far, Mark.
So far. So far.
Two comments.
Yes.
One comment about the service and the food. We are both really surprised at the amount of improvement that's been made in the quality of the food. It's noticeable, and the service is sometimes spotty, but it's better than it was for sure.
Okay.
The other question is to see if you have anything to say about the project to redo the signage at the villas. It's been.
So the signage on the villas?
The signage on the villas, at the entrances,
Okay.
it needs to be uniform, because I fear that if we don't get that done, people will get kind of tipsy and start doing their own.
Understood. Okay. So the questions that Mr. Parker asked, number one was more, I think more of some feedback and a comment that he's been surprised at some of the improvements relative to food, and I think just to kind of piggyback on that, I think Lee's plan all along, working through the changes in the menus, was really focused a lot on that. So it ties together the changing of the menu relative to some of the things that you've seen, some of the changes that you've seen. I appreciate that feedback. I also appreciate the feedback relative to the servers. I think that's going to continue to be a challenge for us. I think it is spotty, I would agree, better, but we're hoping that if we can keep focused on recruiting good people that have a good attitude, then the rest we can actually show them and train them. So thank you for the feedback. Relative to the signage question, Helen, hang on. Relative to the signage question, the signage on the villas is a separate item that I've actually communicated with the head of your board. So he received a communication from me a while ago. So you may want to speak with him about that. The second piece is the signage throughout the community. I had mentioned a while ago that we want this year to do some improvements to the signage, which would include painting, repairing some of the signage, but there's no replacement project in place for 2024. I'm pushing towards the ownership group for next year to start to look at replacement, but for this year, we still have it on our list to try to repair and paint and just improve the appearance of some of the signage. So
there's no acting project to,
not in 2024. Yeah. So let's go to Helen. She had her hand up first, I think.
Thank you. I understand that some work on the facade in building 2 has started. I think by Lynn's apartment. Is that something, because we knew nothing about it, is that something that's going to start there and then continue? Can you give us some information?
Absolutely. So Mrs. Gottlieb's comment or question is related to some work. It's some stucco work that started on building 2 today. We've identified, and that's related to identifying some areas where some of the stucco has failed. Don't hold me to this. I think there's 5 different areas, maybe it's 6 different areas in different buildings that were impacted by that. We initially, when we found out about it, wanted to make sure that it was not a structural issue, which we did clarify. We had an engineer come in and clarify that it's not structural, it's cosmetic. The work that started today is the cosmetic repair work of those areas. So it's not a project to change any of the, the facades or any of the buildings. It's specific to specific areas where the stucco has kind of failed, created cracks. We're repairing that, basically is what we're doing.
Is there a schedule so that we know?
They start now, and when they're done, they're out of here. So I'm not quite sure how long it's gonna take them. I'm assuming maybe a week they'll be here to do that. I don't think it's gonna be
I think
much
Helen
longer.
just wants to know which apartments are being affected.
I have no idea. I'd have to ask.
They took
I don't
out-
have the list offhand. I'd have to speak with Jim and find out exactly which ones are
They
being
took all our
impacted.
screen and aluminum out today, and they
Okay.
took out the screen and aluminum in the apartment next to ours.
Okay.
But I don't know where else.
So what I can do is I'll just leave them a note to say basically, hey, could you follow up with those impacted apartments and let them know kind of big picture what that timeline
That would
is?
be great.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. I can do that.
Yeah, we took all our furniture in, we had to
Okay,
completely,
got it. Where do we go next? Right here?
Mark, I was wondering, that the pergola outside the tavern door,
Mhm.
that goes to the outside,
Mhm.
is there any chance that we could have some type of covering on the pergola, vines or a retractable cover or something, so that we could actually sit out there and enjoy the tables and have a drink? It just seems like it's always, it's a nice pergola, but it'd be nice if there was some covering, so you could enjoy that outdoor space
Okay.
in the tavern.
I can look at it, Alita, so the question is there a way, the pergola that is just outside the tavern on the patio space, is there a way to cover that, basically, I think is what you're
Vines or
asking?
something.
Yeah, I think you just need to be careful, so we can look into that and see what's feasible. You need to be careful when you start covering structures like that. Number one, what do you cover it with? How does that wear? Number two, where does the water go, right? So if you do put some sort of cover, and even if it's just vines, what happens to the water circulation? So let me just look at it. The design initially, when that was done, it was actually done when they did the renovations of the clubhouse. They started in 2020 and for a year. So they added that, the designers added that feature. I think their intent was more just to have a structure that made you feel as though you were kind of, enclosed. I don't think the intent was to make it something that, stop the weather from falling.
From a design standpoint, one of the options is always the retractable kind of cover, so if it's already can retract it or without.
Yeah, you could put like a retractable awning on it.
There are lots of options from a design standpoint on how to for
Okay.
the residents.
What about umbrellas?
Awesome. From the Peanut Gallery. Hi, Kim.
Sorry.
That's fine. Totally fine. Mrs. Seibenman.
Coming back to the signage, do you know that in building 5, some signage is still missing from certain doors?
On the inside of the building, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So Mrs. Seibenman says, do I know that there's still signs missing in building 5 on the inside? And the answer is yes. I shared a little bit earlier that the signage that is on the inside of your buildings in the common areas in every building except for building 3 is not the final signage. Every single sign is not the final sign. They made a mistake, it's wrong, some of them are missing, right? They didn't complete. So we basically told them, you're gonna have to redo the whole thing. So they're actually making all the new signs to replicate what is in building 3. Once they have them all, they're gonna come back on site, they're gonna take down whatever they put up, and they're gonna put up the proper signs. So more to come. God knows that they were not very happy with me because when they found out, I can share this with you, when we told them fairly quickly that they had the wrong signs when they started putting them up. And then they said, okay, well, we're gonna stop. And I said, no, you're not gonna stop. You're gonna put up every sign that you have because the residents have waited long enough with no signs. And then you're gonna come back and you're gonna put up the right signs. So they're making those signs right now. They will be back. My hope is within maybe a month or so to do the final installation. So those areas will be addressed. Mr. Andre.
There's signage on the roads saying 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
There's another place that says 15. 20 and 15, and then their info is 15. So you're gonna replace the signage, or?
So our goal, so the question is, is there a speed limit sign on campus that says 15?
No.
Okay, because you say the other place, what are you referring to?
The bulletins you put up.
Oh, so the bulletins we put up, okay, so I just wanted to clarify that. So yes, the signage, so the question is about the road signage and the speed limit signage within the campus. It does say 20 miles an hour. Quite frankly, we've been on a bit of a campaign to say 20 miles an hour is too fast. Slow down. And try it. Drive 20 miles an hour around the campus, and you will probably agree with me that you're driving too fast. You should be driving no more than 15 miles an hour. So we've done a campaign in what we put out and the publicity we put out to drive no more than 15 miles an hour. We will address that signage when we replace all of those signs. And we will reduce the speed limit on those signs. And try the exercise, please do it. I know I do, when I drive into the campus every time, and you know, I slow down and I drive and I look at the speedometer, 15 is more than enough, right?
Yes.
Particularly when you get to an intersection or you get to a corner. If you're going 20, sometimes you cannot react fast enough. But yes, we will replace those. Other questions? Here.
Can we add another?
Hang on, she's gonna bring you the microphone.
Can we add another day or car to paid transportation, because it's hard to get it? I've tried twice,
Okay,
and for the next week, and they're full.
all right,
We need more.
the question is, can we add another vehicle, maybe another day, another time for paid transportation?
Right.
So I'll bring that forward with our team and see if we cannot maybe add some of that service. Okay, thank you for that.
We had a medical,
Just a little bit closer, Ginger.
we had an office for medical purposes. We had 2 girls working there. It's closed now. Is there any way that it was discussed, another doctor was going to come and have an office there? It never happened.
So So the question is relative to the office that's just here outside the room. There used to be, Rizzi Geriatrics used to use that space. So a couple things on that front. We have not been able to conclude an agreement with a new group. That's why there is no
That
group.
new group was supposed to come, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. It doesn't mean we've given up on that. We continue to speak to groups to see if there's some interest to do that. That's the
You're
first
working
piece.
on it.
Yeah.
The second piece is those two nurse practitioners are here every day. They're on campus Monday through Friday.
Yeah, you call them, they
You
come
can
up
contact them, they will go to your apartment. So those services are still available, they just don't sit in that office space.
Right.
But yes, we're still looking at maybe
That
having somebody.
service is not too practical. You try to get them, they are busy, they don't answer the phone. They do
Fair
their
enough.
best, but
I get it,
it was nice when we had the office.
Yeah.
understood. Right. Any other questions? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you. Have an awesome day.